What's up, guys? This is 3X with some more Saints Row the Third action for you, and a couple of little bits of news regarding the game in case you haven't been keeping up with it. A couple of videos ago I put up commentary that was talking a little bit about the expansion pack that they were going to be releasing, the Enter the Dominatrix pack, which was supposed to be its own standalone expansion, a little more deeper, well, a lot deeper than the mission packs that they released, that being Genki Bowl, Trouble with Clones, and Gangsters in Space. Well, that, according to the official Saints Row forums, has actually been postponed. It will not be released as DLC for Saints Row the Third. Instead, however, it's going to be content that will be included in Saints Row 4. And the community is kind of mixed on the decision, on the fact that it pretty much means that all the endgame content for Saints Row the Third is pretty much out there now, in the form of those 3 mission packs that I just mentioned. And any further DLC between this point and the release of Saints Row 4 is going to be smaller packs, which will probably be new weapons, new vehicles, new allies, outfits, that type of thing. Nothing major that expands on the gameplay itself, more cosmetic stuff. But then at the same time, it's a good thing, because what it means basically, obviously, is that by them postponing the content, it gives them more time to work on the content, which means they can make more content to this particular endeavor, or they can expand and improve on whatever it was that they were planning on doing with it as far as the game itself. And the same thing goes with the actual total game of Saints Row 4 itself as well, given its development cycle. Saints Row 4 was already in development right soon after Saints Row the Third was released. So it's all the better for the overall game experience for the next chapter of the Third Stream Saints. And that kind of goes hand in hand with the new direction of THQ itself. Just recently, as recent as last month, I believe, or maybe a little less than last month, THQ actually hired or appointed a new president. They're under new management, so to speak. And that specific person is Jason Rubin, who just so happens to be, or have been, the co-founder of Naughty Dog. I'm pretty sure you've heard of those guys. They made Jak and Daxter, Crash Bandicoot, and those Uncharted games that seem to be doing pretty well. So yeah, Rubin's focus has been on helping THQ's development teams get more out of their development cycles and focus more on those little intricacies of gameplay that they haven't been already, because for the most part THQ games up until now have been just more about cranking out as much as possible to try to maximize as much profit as possible. So while you're getting quantity, you're not necessarily getting quality, you know. A lot of games with glitches and bugs and not enough testing and lackluster DLC content and so on and so forth. That appears to be a thing of the past, or is going to be a thing of the past, with THQ under Rubin, who seems to be very focused on helping the development houses make better games. And if I can, I'll read a little bit of the interview that he had with Game Informer from this past issue. You can go out and get a copy of it. The most poignant part of it is when they had mentioned the fact that THQ hadn't had a 90+ rated game in Game Informer or generally around other game review mediums, websites, magazines, and such like that for a very long time. And some of the points that he made was the fact that a lot of games nowadays have to compete on the same level as far as the initial price points themselves, but what goes into them monetarily isn't always just about game development, but also marketing and advertising and such like that. I mean, you obviously have those powerhouse franchises out there, such as Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, and Grand Theft Auto, who always get maximum marketing and so on and so forth. And then you have games, much like a lot of the games that THQ makes, that don't necessarily get that much attention as far as marketing, advertising, and so on and so forth. The WWE games have consistently been THQ's highest grossing, highest selling franchise throughout the years since they started making video games on multiple consoles. Obviously that benefits from the fact that it's a license of a company that has a pretty big fan base, but as far as its own exclusive, I guess you could say, first party intellectual properties, they've been kind of lacking again because they spread themselves out so much, does THQ, that they kind of make themselves to be jacks of all trades but masters at none. So anyway, some of the things that he said about some of the actual in-house development studios that THQ has under its banner gives you an idea of what it is that he has as far as direction for what he's looking to get out of THQ and its games. And he says the first Company of Heroes was a 90+ game and was done by Relic, which is one of THQ's internal studios, one of the highest rated real-time strategy games. And why they didn't do another Company of Heroes game until now, he can't answer, because at the time he had just started the tenure with THQ. But he believes that the company has in it the ability of making a 90+ rated game because they've already done it. And then he went on to mention the gentlemen and ladies at Volition, who are the direct developers of the Saints Row franchise. Incredibly talented. Under the restrictions that they've been under in this company, THQ, in terms of the budget and time schedule that they've had for their products, to put out a game that doesn't necessarily compete toe-to-toe with GTA, but comparably it's amazing what they've done with what they have. And he believes that team, when properly funded, properly led, and properly allowed to create, he believes can create a 90+ rated title. The key words in that is properly funded, properly led, and properly allowed to create. That gives you a very, very good sense of direction of what Mr. Rubin has planned for THQ and the development houses under THQ. Giving them enough funds, or getting them enough funds, and leadership, direction, and time to be able to produce the finest quality games that they are capable of making. That is pretty much what we're seeing in layman's terms here, with them pushing back this DLC expansion for Saints Row 3rd for the release of Saints Row 4. Now, whether or not it's going to be DLC or it's just going to be added extra content in the game itself, that remains to be seen. But something like this that's being done by THQ is something that hasn't been done by THQ historically. They've churned out DLC countlessly and almost endlessly, as far as just adding on little bits and pieces here and there and here and there. They did it with Saints Row 3rd. They've done it with the WWE games. It doesn't seem like that's going to be the trend anymore, and they're going to focus a whole lot more on making sure that the original game content itself, as in what you get on the disc, is going to be the best that it can possibly be. And that, in my opinion, is a good thing for the next Saints Row game, and also for any other future THQ titles like Homefront 2 or Insane, Darksiders 2, and other games that they have under their banner. So that's my personal opinion on the rollback of Enter the Dominatrix and how it's going to affect the overall game experience for Saints Row 4. Kinda sucks for Saints Row 3, but you know, you just gotta roll with the punches. People still pretty much have their fun with this game that are still within the community, so they can hold out, and hopefully it winds up being a better experience for all when Saints Row 4 is released, whenever that happens. That makes the community of gamers that support the game even bigger than the one that supports the game now, under the heavy scrutiny of Saints Row the Third and its whole format changing from being more tongue-in-cheek to the more serious overtones of Saints Rows 1 and 2. But that's another discussion altogether there. As far as this goes, I'm gonna cut it off, and yeah, if you like this video, then subscribe to the channel, like it, spread it around to all of your friends who are interested in this type of news, and I'll have more tidbits for Saints Row the Third and many other games soon to come. This is 3X, I'm out.
Time to duck and cover.